is a manufacturing technologies lab. So this class is gonna be pretty much like a hands-on, right? So, but to do hands-on on the equipment that we're gonna do, you guys are gonna have to know some stuff, right? We transferred this class from being like a lecture-based, so that you would come here for like a day and have a lecture, and then you go in there and work, and then come here and then and have a lecture and go there and work, to you try to do all the lectures by yourself, quizzes and stuff at home, and then when you're here, then you do all hands-on, right? And we also moved a few years ago, maybe a couple years ago, instead of actually having 4 students with me at once, because your groups are going to be divided in 4, we are going to have 1 student coming at a time. So it's going to be pretty much like a one-on-one class, right? Which is the best that you can get, right? The problem is you're going to be timed. So you got to be ready. So I'm going to show you. So this is the Canvas page. So whenever you go into Canvas, you're going to see this. And whenever you click on the link to the tentative schedule, you're going to be taken somewhere. I don't know where it is. So this is for the previous year. So this is what we're going to have now. I can show you. Okay, so this is you guys, Tuesdays and Thursdays. So today is September 2nd, first lecture, and then every day we're gonna have what each of you is gonna do, right? So I said like this group has 11 students, right? So the 11 students are gonna be split into actually 2 groups. 3 groups was before. So one group's gonna have 6 and one group's gonna have 5. Right? So how we're gonna do one-on-one with like a 6 people and 5 people? What we're gonna do is we're gonna name you guys into student 1, student 2, student 3, student 4, student 5, and student 6. This group is only gonna go to 1 through 5, right? And then if you guys notice, the classes or labs, they are 1 hour and 15 minutes. Right? So you have 1 hour and 15 minutes. Each person is going to have 30 minutes to actually to do all the work and put like a and clean up. Right? So how do we do that? I go and I time myself doing the exercise. And I have to take 10 minutes or less. Because I already know where everything is. So like for me it's faster. So I imagine you can take you're gonna take like a 2 times more. But it depends. If you guys come in and you know nothing, we can do it, right? And as you guys can see by our tentative schedule, this is today. And if you go back to back with all the classes and exercises that we have to do, that's the last day of class, right? So we are kind of like already crunched in time, right? What happens? Oh, I got sick. I had to go do something and we miss a class, then we're just gonna have to cut exercises, right? Hopefully you guys can actually accomplish all of them, right? Alright, so this one is gonna end up looking like this. So this is a couple years, or last year, 2024, last year. So see, group 1, Nathan, Alex, Elizabeth, flat because there were 2. Using the lathe. Cut stock using horizontal bend saw. So like I see, it has the work that the person has to do. So this first day is a demonstration day. So let's say we're gonna be looking at the in this first part, whoever's gonna be working with me is gonna be working with the vertical mill, right? So the first day you all come, you guys are gonna sit there, and I'm gonna do an exercise myself, right? I'm gonna do all the exercise it's exactly what we're gonna do as our first exercise, right? And I'm gonna call you guys, see like do you see this? Do you see this? So you guys got a feel of it, right? Next day, you have to do it, right? So the first day, the demonstration day, you take notes, you ask questions, right? You write down things, and then because the next thing is actually doing by yourself. It's actually, we go to the pool, I show you how you swim, and then I show you in there, and then now I gotta swim, you know? That's because like it's two things. Either I show you in there, or I'm gonna be in here and I'm gonna be talking, you know? And my English is not good, so that's the thing. So your schedule is gonna look like this, and then you gotta. If I have student 1 and student 2 coming to the first day, let's say we are on this, let's say September 9th. Student 1 and student 2 come to class, right? What does student 3, student 4, student 5, and student 6 do? There's gonna be stuff on Canvas for you to do, right? You can watch the lectures that I record there of me using the equipment, you know. You have resources online for you to go. And then what you're gonna do before coming to class is you're gonna write down a step-by-step, right? A step-by-step means I'm gonna get the stock, I'm gonna deburr the stock, I'm gonna put the stock on the vise. I'm gonna choose the parallel plates, and then I got, so see, acquire the stock, deburr stock, choose parallel plates, and so on. And then you're gonna do step by step of everything that you gotta do. So then like your brain has already exercised the move, right? So I imagine everybody here is an athlete, or pretty much. Who is not an athlete? Okay. So for the ones that are in athletics, like what sport do you play? Football, right? You're in football. Sometimes you kind of don't have to practice, but the guy's gonna say that, like, see, this is how we're gonna run, you know? And then you go like this, and then even though you've never done it, this gets your brain, okay, I can see it, you know? So when you get there to do it, it's actually not the same, but pretty close, right? So that's the only way that we can do the 30 minutes. Whenever you come, you gotta be ready, right? So put the pressure on you, because that's like how life is gonna be as an engineer, you know? The pressure is on you. Nobody calls the engineer to, oh, we're having a party here, so I'm gonna call the engineer. No, it's always like everything is on fire, they're gonna call you, you know? So that's the thing. There are gonna be activities on Canvas for you to accomplish, and then you just do all your work, and get ready for the class. You come for the lab. Then there's gonna be what's gonna be the next thing. There's gonna be an exercise, right? Exercise number 2. What do you gotta do? Oh, it's gonna be something similar, but a little different, right? Why is that? The same reason why you go for your Calc 2 class or Calc 3 or whatever, and you do an exercise, and guess what? You do an exercise that's the same, but it's different, you know? Different numbers, right? So this is how we're gonna exercise. You're just gonna go and do the same exercise, a little different. You're gonna just like cut more here, cut more there, so you can measure again, you know? And always, I'm gonna try to keep this my timing at 10 minutes, so you guys with prep, you can actually do your timing under 10, right? And then, as I said, like you come in, you start, you grab all the tools that you need, you set up the equipment, and then I hope that you can do this in 30 minutes. Let's say you start at 1 p.m. or your guys is 11, right? So student 1 is going to do 11 to 11:30, right? And then the person will have here 5 minutes to clean up. Disassemble all the equipment, clean up, and then the next person can start, right? So if this person starts at 11:40, 30 minutes, it's going to be 11:40 to 12:10, 5 minutes to clean up. And that's the end of class, right? So that's how we're going to do. Cool? Who is student 1, student 2, student 3, student 4, student 5? It doesn't matter for me, you know? Oh, I have a football game on that day. Can I miss? You talk to student 1 and then we switch, right? Oh, I can do Fridays. Because now if you see, this class is going to be Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Do I have to come every Friday? Maybe you're never going to come on Friday. Maybe you're never going to come on Tuesday, right? Just the first one. But like, we're going to have to follow the schedule, right? But make sure you plan ahead so you don't, because like, it's going to be a pretty loose class, right? The problem with things are loose is that like people get lost, right? You guys are adults, you guys have to take care of your own life, you know. 2 years from now, you guys are doing your own stuff, you know. You guys have gotta find a place to live, like pay rent, cook your own food, and stuff like that. There's not gonna be crow's nest there anymore.
So it's gonna be like you go to class like for 30 minutes by yourself, like once every 2 weeks. Is that what we're looking, or is that not right?
Yeah. Not every 2 weeks, but like every week you're gonna be there for 30 minutes. Yeah. Unless we switch groups, and then now there's another demonstration day. Then on the demonstration day, everybody comes, right? Because they're gonna have the lathe and the vertical mill. So one group with 6, one group with 5, and we're gonna run all the exercises, and then we go like this. So whoever was on the lathe go to the vertical mill, and then the professors do the same but with a different group, right? So we did this, so we actually maximize the time that you guys have, right? One-on-one. Because if like the way that we did before, it was like I have 4 students with me, and then I go and I screw in a screw, right? And then I screw it back, and then the other student come in and screw it back. And then it's like when you chop the content that small, so everybody can do the same in a class, you don't get the big picture, like the whole exercise. So we ended up having students that like, let's say next semester, the person would I had students coming to me and said like, oh, you got a new piece of equipment. The guy just had the lab in that one equipment like a previous semester. So like it's kind of like for us, it's good that like it opens our eyes, because like my goal is actually to make you powerful, you know, not me. I know this stuff. So I have to make sure I do things in a way that you guys learn, right? All right, and this is it's kind of confusing. Nobody does this kind of setup, you know? You can go in the whole world and nobody does it. But we're gonna make it work, you know? That's what we do here. We always make it work. So whenever you open your Canvas, the first thing that's there is going to be the tentative schedule. Why is the first thing? Because it's important. I want you to know where it is, right? It's the first thing that's there. You click, you click on the link. There's something missing. You email me. Oh, I don't know what to do, and then I can reply. We can figure it out, Oh, the due dates are wrong. That's fine. Just let me know, and we can figure it out. One thing. So this is not only for my class. Sometimes the due date for things are not gonna be on Canvas, right? Let's say I have a quiz for you to take. I say this is the due date. If I don't go there and create a due date in a specific date, it's not gonna show on the sidebar here all the stuff that you guys gotta do, right? Most of the students, they actually say, oh, I'm gonna see all that I have to do. And they have and then Canvas, make it nice. Oh, this is what you have today, this is what you have tomorrow. You're coming to class, you're doing the stuff, you know what's happening, Don't rely on Canvas telling you everything, right? Because some professors, they have a lot of time, and their Canvas is beautiful. Some professors, they're busy, so they're just gonna come in, Canvas is just like a small tool. The big tool is actually we doing it, I pay a lot more attention to can we make this work, can we do it, can I teach, can you guys learn? A lot more than, oh, I'm gonna put some beautiful pictures on my Canvas, But some professors, they have a lot of time, and they're gonna, especially they're in a different school. Don't tell them that. But for us, it's gonna be complicated just because, I don't know, we're just busy doing stuff. All right. So that said, also, I just finished compiling your syllabus. And we're going to talk about pretty much everything that's in the syllabus, but make sure you find it there, so any information that you need that's not there, you can ask me. It can be in class or outside class. So we're going to have a little presentation that's going to cover pretty much everything here. Alright, because the syllabus ended up being more like a policy thing, So who do you complain to if I put you in timeout? Yeah. So the workload, so this is a 1 credit class, right? So it's going to be kind of tricky. How do you gauge 1 credit? Because it's going to be one-on-one for 30 minutes per week, right? And then you're going to have some work to do at home, right? But we're gonna balance that. So one credit means you're gonna work about 2 hours a week. Either share here and at home, or 2 hours here and 0 at home, certain sort of 2 hours a week, right? So that's kind of pretty much what we do in a very complicated setup, I would say. So what we're gonna do is, I told you that you guys are going to have a write-up, a step-by-step, or whatever you guys want to call. So you guys are going to have quizzes, right? To make sure you guys are alive and breathing. This quiz has twosies. Man, why did I put twosies on quizzes? Waste. Alright. So you have the step-by-step, right? That you guys are going to deliver. And my objective is that you're going to compile a report, right? On this report, you're going to measure your pieces. You're going to write, oh, this was my step-by-step. I followed it, and this happened. More important than doing the things is actually analyzing and seeing what happened, right? I was just talking to Dr. Pilling, and he was telling the students, AI can do everything that we're doing now. So why are we even doing it, You guys are not going to be machinists. Why are we even doing this? Is to exercise the critical thinking, right? The end result is not as important as the process, right? So I wanted to exercise that, and understand some things beyond, just making it. Making it is easy, but understanding it, creating the process. So the process is so important that if you think of everything that's made in China, is it good quality or bad quality? It's all the qualities. It depends on the process. The cheapest stuff, the worst quality, is made 1 block away from your phone, where your phone is made, in your 90-inch TV that you have in your house, in your parents' house. What's the difference? Is the process in the factory, right? And so the stronger you can be creating your process, the stronger you're going to lead your company or your manufacturing plant or your production line or whatever it is, or your personal finance, your groceries. It's all about the process. If you can figure out a good process, you win, right? Even a good process to, I'm going to go to church, I'm going to go to, whatever, you create a process, right? The same as you have a boat, you want to have a place to go. If you go and say, I don't know what I'm going to do today, it's like, yeah, you're going to be drifting for a while. Then now, once you get back to it, maybe you're still you lost a little bit, All right, and at the end, hopefully you're going to get an A, right? And everybody's going to be happy. Good. So again, this intensive schedule is going to be pretty much the first thing that pops up once you open Canvas. So I'm going to leave student view so you can see what I see. Announcements. If I need to say anything today this is going to happen, I'm going to post it here. So if you have any freshmen here, no? No freshmen. So does everybody have the Canvas app on the phone? So usually if you have the Canvas app on the phone, it's going to pop up a message if you receive any, an announcement or otherwise you're going to receive on your email, right? But if I post something here, you guys are going to receive it. So usually I'll navigate all this into the modules, right? So this is today, meeting number 1. You say, we're going to talk about this and talk about that, and this is going to be the video, and this is going to be, the video there that I'm recording? It doesn't have a lot of me, but it has a lot of talking. So and then I'm just going to post it for you. So it's I don't remember what happened, then you can just go back. Alright, so the syllabus is going to be uploaded there. So if you need to find the syllabus, you go to the first meeting and it's there. Right? So today, let's see if it's going to right up. some safety rules and procedures. So this is all common sense, right? But we have to say it twice these days. Alright. Shop rules. Before you come in, you're gonna store all your personal belongings into the cubes that's right in front of the machine shop. So if you go there by the machine shop, there's the glass window there. You can put your backpack there, your water bottle there, you know, you put everything in there. Your sandwich that you stole from the nest, you know, that you put in your pocket, you put it there. Alright. Cell phone. You can have your cell phone on you. You're gonna need to take pictures and stuff. We're not gonna be talking on the phone or doing anything unless it's like appropriate for the class, right? Oh, there's something that's happening. I may receive a call and then I have to be excused. No problem, you know. I don't have a problem with that. It's like the same as like, oh, I have to go to the bathroom. Yeah, it's fine. But we gotta plan for that, right? Like bathroom is easier. Just go before going to class, right? But sometimes we receive like waiting for a call or something. So no food allowed in there. So this is the same for this class, for any kind of use of the machine shop, right? So we're not going to use for the compressed air to clean anything or to have fun, right? Equipment used to be used as equipment. And the compressed air, sometimes when you're cleaning something with the compressed air, whatever chip or whatever, it can go upwards. And if you look on a piece of equipment, all the vents, they're like a vent facing down. Because usually things fall like this because of gravity. And if all the vents are facing down, nothing's gonna go where the motor is, right? Unless you shoot the thing up with the compressor, then you can have something like a metal chip going into where the motor is, right? So we want to make sure we don't do that. At the same time, you can also shoot the compressed air and it go something on somebody else's eye, right? So we need personal protective equipment. You need to be with clothes that are good to use in the machine shop, right? So for each of the equipment that you're going to be using, the rules might be different. Let's say, do you use gloves or don't use gloves? It depends which equipment you're using, you know? So the personal protective equipment is going to change, and but like the clothes is usually the same, right? No shorts, right? Always pants. Closed shoe. When you're welding, we're going to ask if you have a shoe that doesn't have a soft fabric on top, like this. If you come with a shoe like this, you're going to feel the sparks falling on your foot, right? It's not comfortable, but it's not going to kill you. And I've used this shoe to weld, and it doesn't burn through, as you can see. But I wouldn't put your $1,000 Nike to come to class, you know? So it's not a Sunday's best in the machine shop. So all the clothes have to no loose ends, because you don't want anything getting caught, right? Your sleeves have to be folded, not pulled, right? We can't just pull it like this. We have to be able to fold it. Sometimes people they come with like a sweatshirt that's pretty tight, so they can't even pull the sleeves, and they don't come with like a shirt underneath. You know, so, okay, so you're just gonna have to go to the dorm and change. You know, there's nothing that we can do. You know, so you have to be able to. If you come with long sleeve, you have to be able to fold it, right? So bring any concerns into my attention. Oh, there's this equipment. I think it's iffy. Yeah, that's fine. we've used it like this. Oh, there's this, yeah. Let me know anything that you think that's out of strange, right? Because that can what I say is, we don't get paper cuts in the machine shop, you know. If something goes bad, it can goes back really bad. By the time that somebody pushes the red button to make the machine stop, you already lost your scalp. A guy already lost an arm, you know. So it's pretty fast, you know, for a thing to go really bad. So we have to pay all the attention that we can, you know. And now we have less people in the machine shop. We only have more people in the demonstration day, because there's pretty much is in there. Everybody's in there, right? But later on, when we go into one-on-one, I'm gonna be with one of you, and Dr. Batra is gonna have one of you, right? So it's easier to manage one person, you know, to keep you guys safe. So instruction supervision is always required, and you need training to operate the equipment. Alright, as I said, you can close the shoes, pants. If you have long hair, your guys' hair here is fine. But if people would have long hair, then you can have it tied, or you can have a net. And we're gonna teach what to do so you don't expose yourself, you know. Shirts have to be tucked in, and no rings and bracelets. So anything that you gotta use, if it gets caught on the equipment, it has to rip, right? Let's say you have a watch. If the watch gets caught, is the band gonna rip, or if that doesn't rip, you're gonna be sucked in, right? So usually when you're in a place that actually it's a very dangerous place, that's the same, you know. You have a collar or whatever, it gets stuck. Is he gonna choke you, or is he gonna break, you know? So that's what you gotta see. Rings. You get a ring. Let's say you have a hand and something hits your hand pretty hard. It's gonna hurt a lot, right? Is it gonna break a bone or something, right? You have a metal ring, something hits your hand pretty hard, it cuts your finger off, which is a lot worse, right? So usually that's why these rules are in. That's why usually these rules are in place, right? Can we break the rules? Yes. Engineers, they're gonna be told to break the rules a lot of times. You know why? Because somebody has to do the job. You guys are pretty young, but a few years ago, maybe 8 years ago, I don't remember, there was a big a tsunami in Japan, right? And there was a nuclear facility there that started leaking. Who has to go in there to turn it off? Engineers. Oh, but you can't go into a nuclear plant that's leaking. Somebody gotta do it. So I used to work in the oil field. Some of our equipment that we use radioactive sources. Can you play with your radioactive sources? Engineers are going to be asked to. There's a bunch of rules for you to follow so you can do that safely. There's a big engine for you to fix, and you have to fix with the engine running. Who's going to go in there? The engineer. Can he do it? As soon as you pull off a guard, it can be from a drill. Now you have to understand what was that protecting you from. Because now you don't have that protection anymore, and you're going to have to navigate without that protection, right? So, can you do it? Yes, but now we're gonna have to think twice. So why I'm saying this, because like let's say I have this one bracelet that I got from my grandmother when she was alive, and like it doesn't come out. That's fine. We're just gonna have to understand the risk and work with it, right? And this usually happens. All right, PPE. So one thing that we're always gonna wear is the safety glasses. Safety glasses is a must. Not only for actually protecting our eyes from like flying particles, but also from if anybody is welding, there's a lot of like a UV rays that's just like a bouncing around because it's just reflecting, and then they're gonna be just absorbing that through your eyes, right? And I don't know if you have an understanding of how radiation works, but radiation it's a cumulative. I take a little bit today, I take a little bit tomorrow, it's gonna add up into this one bucket of radiation that I'm taking. At some point, my cells are just gonna start behaving weird, which is called cancer. So, and we're gonna get this radiation from everything in life, you know? So, you fly on an airplane, you get more radiation than if you stay on the ground, right? You go to the beach, you get more radiation because of the silica on the sand. Sometimes you go to a building, the building is kind of radioactive because you use like a silica from a source that actually was kind of radioactive. It's actually everywhere. So we want to actually minimize the intake, you know, every day, right? So safety glasses we use all the time, right? And the safety glasses, when you buy them, we make sure that they follow this Z87.1 rating. That's actually what covers the UV filter that we want to be filtered.
Will we be getting these glasses?
It's always going to be there.
Okay.
There's a place for the glasses. And then if you don't wear glasses, you wear the normal glasses. If you wear glasses, there's going to be an over glass that you put on. Even when you have your welding helmet on, you wear your safety glasses underneath. Right? Alright, when needed, dust mask, face shield, hair protector, gloves. So each station might need something different. So you guys are gonna understand how each of the equipment work, and then you're gonna choose accordingly, right? So how do we work with this safety and protection? First, we're gonna protect everybody, and then second, we're gonna protect the equipment, right? So first, we have to make sure everybody's safe. Second is, we're gonna make sure that like if we can, we're gonna try to save the equipment, right? So, personal protection. Let me know if you have any condition that might affect the work that's done in the shop, right? So, it doesn't have to be public. You let me know, and we're gonna work with it. It can be some condition that's chronic, that means happens every day. Or it can be like, oh, I took a medicine today and I'm kind of sleepy. So today might not be a good day to work on this thing like close to my hand, you know. So we're gonna work with that, you know. Sometimes I don't understand like things happen at home, you know. We have all kinds of difficulties in our life. So like you just talk to me and we're gonna work together, right? Yeah, so let me know anything that might happen. And you see like It's amazing, like a few people that actually went through this program and what they needed as of like a help. And I don't know if I would be able to do if I were them, because like their need was so big and they could still take it, you know. I had like a girl once that she couldn't hear like a loud noise, and she still did all the grinding that she needed to do, which is pretty loud. So it's kind of like it was kind of like a very challenging for her, but I understood her limits. She told me, and then we worked together, right? All right, equipment maintenance. So we have to look at equipment before we use. Most likely I'm gonna be there all the time. If there are any guards missing, you go there once. Like, we shouldn't assume that things are good. But like, what does that mean? It's a school. Sometimes, let's say, one common thing to happen is actually the grinding wheel. So the grinding wheel is like a lot of sand that's bound with like a resin, right? If somebody is actually pushing a cart and hits the grinding wheel on the side, and he cracks the grinding wheel, and then the wheel is there, it's sitting, looks good. Once you turn on, now you have the rotation. Now there is a force pushing out. Yep. So how come nobody saw it? You know, I don't know. It happened. So like, we always have to come in and analyze, is this even good? You know, some it's like some things have like more impact than others. Oh, I turn on this equipment, oh, it dies, I turn off. It didn't kill anybody. But like, for example, the grinding wheel, if I turn on and I go to grind right away, then now if it pops, your face is right in there. So you turn on, you wait for like it to reach max speed, and now it can work. That means like it's safe. If it's gonna pop, it's gonna pop right away. You know, like before I reach max speed. And then if you see anything that's not correct, you let me know, right? And sometimes like I come in here, I do the work, and it's like, man, like I have a class to go to, and then I'm gonna be coming back, right? You go to class, you come back to the shop, you have to consider like did anybody use there? I don't know. So you consider like I have to be careful again. A good example is the welding equipment. We're gonna get used to things are hot because they're red hot. Like metal gets to like the red, you know, incandescent when it's like about like 800 Celsius. And we're gonna get to that like temperature. And then it goes normal color. It's still 500 Celsius, you know, which is still pretty hot. So hot that if I have the welding glove and I grab it like this, I'm gonna get a burn. So the thing is, you go into the welding booth, you gotta be ready for anything to be hot. It could be the table, it could be the equipment, it could be the pliers, it could be the hammer. You consider anything can be hot in here, you know? So that's the thing, like, oh, I'm gonna go to the restroom, quick. You go and you stop and you talk to somebody on the hall, and then you come back. Is the equipment cold or hot? I don't know, what if Rodrigo did some welding in between? You know what I mean? You have to consider that's hot, you know? You go in there, you consider it's hot. So shop maintenance, we're gonna keep everything clean, and tool stored, and close the cylinder after we're done, right? Now with the new, with this new setup as we have for class, that you have to start, get your equipment, put it together, do the work, and clean, it's easier to keep it clean and keep it organized, right? At the same time that you learn more. In the past, let's say I'll grab this tool, I'll put on my vertical mill, and then I'll come, I'll do the exercise, and then I'll step out. John would come, put his stuff there, do his or put his piece there, do the exercise, step out. Jack would come in there, put his piece in there, do the exercise. Do you see that like nobody grabbed the tool from the drawer to actually put it here? So guess what? Nobody knows how to install the tool. Nobody knows where the tool is, right? So this new setup that takes you from beginning to end, teach you all these things that like we wouldn't teach you otherwise. You know what I mean? And actually that keeps like us accountable to actually learn this kind of stuff, you know. All right, I'm talking a lot. So, any questions on this ones? About the shop, safety, and we're gonna be talking through the labs and stuff. This semester, different than the previous one, I'm gonna open the discussion. I'm gonna open the discussion tab. You know, when I moved here, I was an international student, right? I was getting my MBA. And I hated when the professors had the discussions, you know. You had to talk about something and then this other person had to read what you wrote and then make a comment on what you did. So I hate discussions. However, some things are only going to happen every once in a while, right? Let's say one of you go there and you decide, oh, I'm going to take, let's say I have a block in the vertical mill, and then we have to eat of it, let's say a quarter of an inch, right? We're gonna make a part of an inch like a narrower. How much are gonna take off per pass? The total we are gonna aim for a quarter of an inch. But let's say a guy comes in and he decides, I'm gonna take on the first pass, I'm gonna take 100 thousandths. Is that good or bad? I don't know. You don't unless you have the experience that you know that that's good or bad, or you're gonna just have to try, you know. So the thing is, if one guy goes in there and he takes 100 thousandths and then it's awful, it breaks the bit. It's horrible. We have to cut another piece. The only way that the other student's gonna know is if this first student go there and put on the discussion board. So all these experiences, oh, I did this, but so this is how the tool is, right? It has the cutters like this, right? So that's the direction of rotation, so you were actually cutting, right? What if I rotate this way? I'm going to be doing this, right? It's not going to cut. I'm going to be cutting. Is there any difference if I go from here to there, or if I start on this side and I go from there to here? Is there any difference?
The blade won't really have a grabbing motion, but it's coming from this side. It seems.
So there is a difference. Yeah, there is a difference. So that's the thing, like, I want people to know those things. Oh, there's a difference. I'm gonna tell people, you know. Then you can go there in the discussion board and put like a something about it, you know. Because everybody's gonna be doing the same exercise. Right? And some of the things, and technically, I can just tell you everything that you need to do. Like I actually I can do it for you. But like that's not the objective. It's like to have you guys figuring out how to communicate this again, like how to build like a knowledge like that, you know. I've seen like a lot of stuff, but the thing is like otherwise I'm gonna just hand you like a sheet with everything that I've ever seen. Everything that works doesn't work. Like so like that doesn't work. I'd rather you guys to actually do this. Oh, I think it's interesting. Let's put it there. You know, and there's other guys actually reading, trying to understand before coming to class, you know. So I think like that works better than I giving you guys the answer. Alright, so that was safety shops and procedures. So I'm sorry, today is all the talking that I can talk in a day, you know. So you gotta bear with me. It's pretty much only one day or two. Lecture 2 is better. But the first one is just like a lot of Alright, machine tools. So what we're gonna cover pretty much what we call machine tools. Why is this a different kind of tool? Because this in my head. Hopefully it's good. It's correct. In the past, the way that like the way that like a manufacturing plant would work is actually they had like this big diesel engine outside of the shop, and then you actually loop a belt into the shaft, and then now you have this shaft moving this one rotating piece, and then now you could use that rotating piece to do some work, right? So if you see here, there's a shaft going along the whole, like this, like crossing the shop, and it just loops something into that shaft, and then now you can do work. So pretty much everything has a rotating piece in it, right? Drill press. We have a rotating piece in the drill press. It's what's rotating the bed, right? The lathe. The lathe, you're rotating the stock, right? And the tool is actually stationary. So you're rotating the stock. The power saw. Is it rotating? If it's a belt one, it's actually rotating the saw, but you can have a power hacksaw that actually the rotating movement is making the saw goes like this. The saw itself is only going back and forth, but there's a rotating piece in there, right? A milling machine, the same. It's rotating the cutter, and I'm moving my block to cut it. And a grinder, it's rotating the grinding wheel, right? How different is a drill press than a power drill, the one that you use to drill things? What's the difference? What makes this a machine tool and not the hand drill machine tool.
Yeah, not force it.
No.
It's stationary.
No. So you can see that like a, how do I stop? How do I make this one stop? You have to stop the shaft, right? With the new ones, you have to push on the red button. With the drill, how do you stop the drill? You release it. So that's what makes this equipment very dangerous. Things are going to be rotating like a 200 RPMs. For you to get caught and for that to actually pull you in, it's like a less than a second and you are in the equipment. By the time that person step on the brake, push the red button, you know, it's late. You know, so that's like the thing is like we have to really be paying attention to everything all the time, you know. So it's stationary because like, you know, you have all the system. It's power driven. There is this big power source connected to it. And it's a metal cutting machine. I would say that you can have a machine tool cutting something that's not metal. Cut something that's not metal. Alright, for the drill press, the one that we have, it's a standing drill press, right? That's a sensitive one. Why is it a sensitive one? Because you're using your hand to drill so you can feel it. If the drill bit is struggling or not, you can actually feel on your hand, right? So we try to, when you use other equipment, sometimes as we use the equipment, we put our hand on the side so we can feel it, to see like is this thing breaking, you know, or working? Because like let's say, we're gonna get there, but the lathe, we have a gear head lathe. What's the difference between the gear head and the belt? You change speed by changing belts inside of the gear head here. But like this one, you just like change knobs, and that's gonna change gears inside of the head, right? So you have an automatic feed system in there, right? So if you have an automatic feed system and it's putting force and it's working, it's going. Is it like working well, or is it breaking as it works? You know, the machine doesn't know. So sometimes by putting your hand on the machine, and the machine is like, then you're like, man, like I don't think this is good, you know. And sometimes it's fine. How do you know if it's fine? Somebody did it and put it on the discussion there. Man, like that machine was like squeaking, and Rodrigo said it was fine. So then I know it's fine. Alright, so our lathe is a gear head lathe, right? We're gonna have, as we said, like we're gonna have two groups. One working on the lathe, and one working on the vertical mill, right? This first rotation. On the vertical mill. So there's going to be classes associated with the vertical mill for people that are on the vertical mill team to be looking at as our labs go on, right? And at the same time, the guys from the lathe are not going to be looking at the vertical mill stuff, right? They're going to be looking just at the lathe stuff. When we switch, then you switch the content that you use from canvas, right? I think we talked a little bit about the power saw. We have two bend saws, right? We do not have a power hacksaw. Milling machine. So the difference between these two is actually this one, the cutter is coming in horizontally, and this one, the cutter is coming in vertically, right? This one is called like a knee milling machine, because this is kind of like a knee, right? So this is just like the one that we have. The grinder. We have a pedestal grinder, and on our grinder, each grinding wheel has a different grip, right? So it mostly are going to be using the one with that actually would eat more material from the thing, but like from our stock, but like we have two there. So I was pretty similar to this one. How does the surface grinder works? The surface grinder has a grinding wheel, and let's say I want to make this thinner. I adjust, and my grinding wheel goes like this, and grinds the whole surface. And I adjust, it goes. So that's the surface grinder, what it does. It's just like a tries to take on the surface. And again, we're going to have classes to understand how we work with each of these machine tools. And then, after we go through all of them, we're going to have a class on the CNC. A CNC is a numeric controller, like it's a machine controlled by a numeric controller. That means I program the machine to do whatever I want. But the machine is not smart. Even the smart stuff are not smart. But the machine is really dumb. You can tell it to drill it itself, and it will. So we have to know. So we teach you guys everything hands-on, so you know the boundaries. And then now, whenever you're planning to use the CNC, then now you know how to plan better. And actually, this is the reason for this whole class. None of you is going to become a welder, a machinist, a shop tech. However, you're going to be writing processes for people to follow, right? If you don't know how the job is done, you can't tell how people are going to do the job, right? And there's a big disconnection between how education is done today. There's a guy that reads all the books, and he designs how things should be. And then there's the guy that hammers everything, and he is the one that makes the machine. These people don't talk. I just give him a drawing, and he should be able to make it. However, the guy that's making the drawing doesn't know the limitations of the equipment. So like, how come he can draw anything, you know? So usually, for any program in the country, you usually have a mechanical engineer and a manufacturing engineer. We don't have 2 degrees, we have 1. So we have to make sure you kind of understand both roles, right? So usually the mechanical engineer always go to design, and the manufacturing engineer only goes for the manufacturing plant. But for you guys, I don't know what you're gonna do. You can own your own company and do both sides. But like what I wanted to know is, can I understand that side in a way that I can do my job better, right? So that's a big rivalry. You can talk to anybody that works in a manufacturing plant, and the design engineers don't like the manufacturing engineers, and the manufacturing engineers don't like the design engineers, you know? Oh, I design everything perfectly, and that guy can make it. Oh, that guy doesn't know anything. Like, he has a degree, but like he doesn't even make something like he makes a square hole, you know? It's a big thing. Just because like people limit themselves to actually their own cubicle, you know? So then so that happens. So just like the machine, we have to know the boundaries of everything, and then now we can actually do our job better, you know. Good stuff. So see, we're on time for. So I'm gonna figure this out, like why this one is not open. So I'm gonna print one of these. You guys can find it here. I'm gonna print one of these for you guys to sign. It's just like pretty much everything that we talked about, safety, like clothes that you have to use, that you need supervision to use the equipment. That's just like the fine print, you know. Just like if any of you on a Sunday afternoon decides to break into the machine shop and build something in there, and then I can say, oh, I signed a thing that I was told that I shouldn't break into the machine shop, you know. It's about kind of like that kind of stuff. All right. So again, next class is also going to be here. And then after that, we're not going to be here until we get to the CNC. Right? Which is kind of like December. So this is going to be the one available to you guys. Let's see, CNC, the demonstration and setup is going to be on December 2nd. So we have class today in here. We have class in here on Thursday. And then the next class in the classroom is going to be in December, right? Everything else is going to be in the machine shop, right? So, all right. Let's see if I can here. You guys are a good group. You know, it's the first one that nobody's left through. All right. Let's try to split some names here. Who wants to be? Does people matter like which group you are in? Oh, I want to be with my buddy. Yeah, you can tell me now, or if I put your names down then. Jacob. Isaac? Gianna? She didn't respond, so she's gonna be later. John? Amy? E. And Christine. All right, so this is going to be group 1. All right, and then you have Joseph, Lucas, Samuel, Lakin, and Daffrey as the group number 2. Good? So I'm going to give you a number, most likely it's going to be S1, S2, like the S doesn't matter. It's just because like for me it's easier that if I say, but I'm going to try to do S1, or I'm going to just replace by your name and say like just like Jacob and Isaac are going to come this day. And then like, does Jacob and Isaac has to come at the same time? No, Jacob's going to come in before 11, so he can put his stuff on the on the cube is there. He gets his paper ready, so he's ready to do the work. Because at 11 I say go, and then the guy's no, not like that, but like kind of like that. And then and then Isaac can come in. Let's say 11:20, right? Because he's gonna drop his stuff there. He's gonna have his paper. Some of the work is not done on the equipment itself, right? Let's say for the lathe, I'm gonna give you, like you are gonna have, I don't have to check. Sometimes I'm gonna give you the stock already cut, right? Sometimes I'm gonna tell you to cut the stock. And then after you do that, then you cut the stock, and then now you go to the lathe, right? So the beginning of the work is not actually on the equipment, right? So then, can both students work at the same time? Yeah, it's two different equipments, right? So sometimes like the guy is still gonna be finishing up his work while the other guy's gonna start if he needs like a couple extra minutes. But as soon as Isaac needs to come in, then we're gonna say, I'm sorry, Jacob, time's up. You know, if you hadn't finished yet. So that's the way that we keep you guys on your toes, like studying and stuff, you know. Because like if you come in there and you didn't look at it at all, then 30 minutes is like I have people like taking like 4 hours to finish. Imagine 4 hours to finish something that like should be done in 20 minutes. Guess why? Puts zero effort into it. When you put zero effort into it, like you're not saving time, you're wasting time, right? So hopefully everything is gonna go well. So the step by step, what's gonna help you is the step by step, right? How detailed does the step by step have to be? As detailed as is gonna help you. Oh, like, what does that mean? If you say, cut the stock, machine the stock, work ready. It's a step. Doesn't help you at all. Like you have no. But like one thing that will help. Let's say you grab a piece of stock, and then you write side 1, side 2, side 3, side 4, side 5, side 6. Now I'm gonna make this side a little smaller. So I'm gonna deeper. So like the first thing is I'm gonna number the sides so I know which sides I already worked on, right? See, like all these things help you on your process, right? I'm gonna put it here. I'm gonna move this guy in the x-axis until I touch, and then I'm gonna take a pass, right? You write all that down. And then how different is gonna be the step by step of the first one compared to the second one? Not very different, but you're gonna know more. And then now it's gonna be more precise. You know, it's gonna be more detailed. Because like to save time, let's say that the first block that you do is you get a block, and then we're gonna try to actually make this and this specification to be according to whatever we have there on the print, right? So, And on the second one, I have you guys working on this one, and then you make a cut in the middle here. See how like the steps are just, and I'm gonna make you make this one a little different. Can you see like it just changed a little bit, but the work is always the same. The work is always the same. It's not like it's just like playing football or any sport. Everything is the same. You gotta get the ball to the other side. Plays are a little different, right? So that's like and you wanna exercise with just different numbers. So you get it like a written on your brain, and then now you can actually not do this for 5 years and you still know how to do it. And all of a sudden, also, you can explain something completely different to somebody that's not related to this using this idea, right? Because the best skill that you can have is actually you have an experience and you can apply this experience to something completely different, but has somehow is the same, you know? So you learn, you have one thing and you can teach you multiple things out of the same experience, right? Raise your hand.
Oh, basically I was gonna say like writing it as if you're writing it for someone else.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Good stuff. All right. Thank you guys very much for coming. See you guys on Thursday in here. And again, if you guys know that you have a Friday that you can come, then let me know ahead of time so we can actually move who comes each day, right?
So that's just something extra time you could come in to do your part of the like the project or stuff.
No, so for example, imagine that we are gonna have 1 week, and then we have Tuesday, we have 2 slots, Thursday we have 2 slots, and Friday we have 2 slots. I have to spread the students out that week, because in that week we have to accomplish everything. Everybody has to finish exercise number 1, right? Does it matter if Jacob goes here or there? It depends. Jacob has to tell me, right? So that's the thing, I'm gonna spread them out, but most likely gonna be S1, S2, S3, S4, S5, and S6. If that doesn't work, then you gotta tell me.
Is like group 1 and group 2, like, are they going on the same day, you know? Because
Yes,
there's, like 2
yes.
classes in there? Okay.
So at this, it's gonna be on the lake, and the same is gonna be on the mill. Well, one last person because the group number 2 has 5 people.
And you'll see on campus, like, what videos to watch if you're in group 1 and group 2.
Yeah, so it's gonna be sort of like this. See, lake. Who's in the lake? Nathan, Alex, and Elizabeth. And who's on the mill? Noah, Thomas, Gabriel, and Jacob.
So
See?
you'll have to watch a video that week and then make it step by step. And then,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the
And then you turn it into step by step.
yeah, hopefully you can do the step so last semester it didn't turn out good. That's when people took 4 hours to finish. Because they would do a crappy step by step that wouldn't help them at all. You know? The thing is, you gotta do something and trust on yourself, you know? I'm there because most likely you can figure it out. Right? You did all the math, you guys have some hands-on experience doing stuff at home, right? You can figure it out. But some people, they're just afraid of doing it, you know? They're oh, I don't want to touch it, I don't touch it. So unless you're gonna put yourself in danger, I'm gonna allow you to make a mistake. You know, and mistakes are good. It teaches us stuff. You know, yesterday we were playing a game. I coached for a century. I coach soccer. The goalie put the goal to kick the ball out, and he kicked and he passed it to the other guy right in front of them, and then the other guy scored. And then he's like, "Oh no!" I said, "Don't worry. This is a very good class. You're never gonna forget it, you know, and you're never gonna do it ever again." So that was a good thing, you know. Making mistakes is good. All right. Yeah,
Is that a discussion, like, you just post when?
you just post.
Okay, like, it's not just great, right?
No.
Okay. And then if we mess up.
If you guys are not posting, then I'm gonna grade.
And then if, like, we mess up on
You can come in here.
the, like, the exercise or whatever, like, is it more so you want us to learn how to use the machines and mess up, or is it like, correct?
Yeah. The being correct is gonna actually add to your grade,
Okay.
but also evaluating it and telling why it wasn't correct. It's also gonna help your grade.